That is big.
And it'll be a win-win for everyone.
Oh yeah, sure.
Unfortunately, some of the people near the base and the residences, they got some misinformation too. They thought, well, if the terminal went on the west side, the county was going to come in and buy their property at top dollar. The county was never planning on buying any of the residences around there. So we had to weigh their quality of life issues and all of the market common people that would be moving in. So it was a very, very difficult decision, but one that I'm extremely proud of, and think that the dedication of the board is remarkable, and it was very nice to have the backing publicly of the Myrtle Beach City Council as far as our decision.
Absolutely. You shared with viewers yesterday the importance of all the meetings being open to the public. The first and third Thursday, I believe, of every month. 1:30 p.m. within a walking distance of here, the City Services building.
Come one and come all.
Absolutely. Do folks come in on a regular basis?
Yes, we do get members of the public.
Good.
They find it entertaining.
Yeah.
And sometimes they know they're going to have to come to CAB in the future, and they want to see how the process works. And I'll have them come back to me a couple of months later and say, it was good that they came because they knew what the board was going to be looking for, and it helped their process very much.
Oh yeah. I was wondering, and I think I asked yesterday about folks, if they come, or oftentimes is it architects principally who come? A lot of local business men and women come.
They do, and the public themselves come to make the presentation. We treat everyone with respect. I have a saying that I feed everyone with the same spoon. So if you're coming for a $50 million project or a $500 sign, you deserve the respect and the time and the attention from the board. So we give them that.
Larry, you shared a little bit off camera yesterday, right after the interview, about some experiences there in Chicago during one of your trips as a delegate representing the state of South Carolina to the Democratic National Convention. It was a pretty powerful story, and just to give a sense for viewers who may have seen you out in public or seen you locally, something back in '96, would you be willing to share with viewers a little bit about the experiences there on the trip up there?
In '96, I was a delegate to the Democratic National Convention, and was enjoying very much the opportunity of participating in the nomination process. And matter of fact, I believe I said yesterday, everyone should go if they get a chance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So Mark McBride, who was a former mayor of Myrtle Beach, had certainly never been before, so I took him with me to the convention, and while up there, I suffered a major stroke. And the prognosis from the doctors wasn't very good at the time, but I thought, I've got too much to do, so eventually came back to Myrtle Beach from Northwestern Hospital and did my own therapy.
Your own therapy?
My own therapy. I got very frustrated with the idea of being packed off to Florence, where they have an excellent program for stroke victims. Maybe it's my stubbornness, but when the doctor told me in Chicago that I would have very limited speech and would have to wear a brace on my leg and my left arm would probably always have problems, I thought, I can't afford all that downtime. So I just made up my mind and worked very hard. A lot of prayers, for me, I found out later, and extreme hard working conditions, but eventually came back, and it was a fascinating experience. I know you shouldn't think of a major illness as fascinating, but it absolutely was fascinating. The care and attention from the doctors and from the city of Myrtle Beach once I got back here was extraordinary. So I was very blessed for that experience. For
folks who didn't know you pre-'96, before the convention, did you walk with a cane before then?
Oh, no.
Right.
No. Oh no, I could walk for miles and miles and miles, and no cane at all.
Right.
And the left side was completely paralyzed. And that's why they said, I would have been lucky to be able to drag the leg with the brace, and the arm would almost be crippled. And the speech. the speech was really going to be affected. So, no, the cane is the last vestige for me, and quite frankly, I think of it almost as a badge of honor now to have it.
We oftentimes hear about folks coming through amazing circumstances, don't get them on air on a regular basis, but the experience of going through, did you know what was happening, Larry?
No, I didn't. And Mark McBride, as I said, who was with me, he thought I looked peaked.
Right.
And so he called the EMS to the hotel, and they slapped all the instruments on me and the wires and all, and said they needed to take me to the hospital, and I refused. So I said, no, I got too much to do, and the nominations tomorrow with President Clinton, so no, not going. I'll feel better after a good night's sleep. Go away, leave me alone.
Right.
So then the next morning we had a breakfast, and I think we had 2 or 3 U.S. senators as our guests there talking, and I was enjoying that, but couldn't really breathe or focus.
Is that right?
And Sue Deans, who was the editor of the Sun News at the time, she was up there because she's a native of Chicago.
Right.
And covering the convention also for the Sun News. She went over to Mark, and Mark said, we've got to do something about Larry. He doesn't look right or sound right. So they somehow got me in a cab and took me to Northwestern. And I agreed to stay for a few hours. So
got to get back to the convention.
Got to get back. So then they said, well, how about just spend the night? Because the nomination speeches and all won't be till the following night. I said, well, all right. So somehow during the night, they came in and flipped on the lights. I remember that, and remember them taking me out of the bed, and I thought they were very rude to begin with. Where am I going? And I thought I was talking to them, but I found out later my vocal cords were paralyzed. I could not speak.
You have a memory of yourself talking?
Oh, yes. Yes, I was saying quite a few things. At one time I thought it was a Republican plot, that they were doing this to all of the delegates in Chicago. So when you're lying on that gurney and they're wheeling you through the hospital, I looked up and saw acute stroke unit when the big double doors opened, and that's when I realized that, well, this is not pleasant. And then it just started from there. So it was a massive stroke.
And you were in Chicago for how long then?
At university, 3.5 weeks.
Really?
The reason a friend of mine flew up, Mark eventually had to come home. A friend flew up and got me out of the hospital, got me on the little plane, because a hurricane was coming to Myrtle Beach. I forget what hurricane it was, so they wanted me here so they could send me to Charleston or whatever. Fortunately, the hurricane bypassed us, but that was why they got me down here. So otherwise, I would have probably stayed up there longer.
Right. Boy, Larry.
It's been a road, but it's been fascinating.
Probably gotten you thinking more about even Marge Stonebrook and, of course, her efforts there with the American Heart Association locally and fighting heart disease and stroke. Folks think of the heart disease. I mean, the Heart Association must be all about hearts.
No,
strokes are
also
a very important component there, and for oftentimes for folks, just that sense of nothing's going to take me down. I can't.
Well, and men, quite frankly, are not as intelligent as women. And when you start feeling funny, chances are, especially when you cross that magic 40 or 50 or 60 age line, you should listen to your body. You should listen to your wife and go. If there's a chance something's happening, better safe than sorry. So I think I've learned that. So it's a tough lesson to learn, but I let people know that now if they're stubborn, like most of us are.
Those are great words. You say just pick up the phone, call 911, say I need help.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you may be a little embarrassed if it turns out to be heartburn, but consider the alternative for your family.
That's a great point. You shared yesterday you and your bride have been married almost 3 decades.
Yeah. Great girl.
Yeah, that's exciting. And she's also in real estate.
Yes, she is. Trying to get her to slow down, but that's a work in progress.
Yeah. You know, as we talked about early yesterday, all these different awards you've won from the Horry County Association of Realtors, the Realtor of the Year, the Sun News Citizen of the Year, the Keep South Carolina Beautiful's Man of the Year, the Horry Georgetown Tax Alumni of the Year, and I think even the Volunteer of the Year here from the city of Myrtle Beach. Any of those really stick out in your mind as being one that...
The latest one, which was very amusing. I was very humbled by it, but the one from the city of Myrtle Beach for the Volunteer of the Year, this is a great city as far as volunteerism. Over 500 people volunteer things on a regular basis. And it was right in the middle of the airport controversy, and I thought, oh, this is going to be read 2 or 3 different ways by people. So that one sticks in my mind. It really does. It was a great honor, but it's, I guess you always remember the latest. So many great activities and ways to make a difference. And for you, does anything over the last now 40 years in Myrtle Beach really stick out in your mind as life-changing moments for you, Larry, other than meeting your bride? Watching Myrtle mature has been fascinating. We're coming of age. We have some great people in this town who have vision. It's great to be part of the process and to remember where we came from in a relatively short time. I think is a fascinating thing. At the end of my life, when I look back on it, it's going to be amazing to say, even if it isn't today, what I first remember about Myrtle, the uniqueness of it. So that's definitely a nugget for the memory bank.
Those are great words. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Larry.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Larry Bragg coming up next. There were a lot of M's used in the last 48 hours. How exciting to be here yesterday with Larry. The experiences of having a guest in here and hearing him talk about the magic of Myrtle Beach. The magic of Myrtle Beach was a great way to wrap yesterday, and after the interview, hearing some more nuggets which opened up the door to get him back in today. We stick with those M's, from the magic of Myrtle Beach into hearing him talk like he's talking about his own child, the maturing of Myrtle. The maturing of Myrtle, to hear him talk about the excitement in his life of watching Myrtle Beach over 40 years. Think about that. Arriving here thanks to the U.S. Air Force as a veteran here, being here for 5 years, and the service opportunities that opened up immediately after getting out of the Air Force and making Myrtle Beach his now home of 40 years. Think about those experiences for him as he now tries to figure out his legacy over the next 40 years, the impact that he can make in this community. Those are great words, day in and day out, the maturing of Myrtle Beach and the magic of Myrtle Beach. It's seen well in men and women, just like Larry and Dottie Bragg.